I am Kathy Thatcher, and I will present the findings of my Capstone systematic review on non-nutritive sweeteners and weight loss. My interest in the topic came from personal use of then artificial sweeteners, especially in the 90s when I ingested them in many forms to help me lose post-pregnancy weight. Years later, I decided it was best to steer away from the sweet taste crave and limit use of not only non-nutritive sweeteners, but reduce my intake of sugar. In this systematic review, investigating non-nutritive sweeteners, or NNS, I will investigate their role in weight loss. There are few objectives to get us started. You need to have a background about NNS. It is also important to show data which relays the prevalence of obesity in the U.S., the relationship of sugar or sucrose on obesity and weight gain. Review what current and past literature have to say about the use of NNS. Then I will dig into 20 studies which investigated the use of NNS and weight loss, and I will summarize their findings. Low-calorie and non-nutritive sweeteners are referred to by many names: artificial sweeteners, sugar substitutes, low-calorie sweeteners, or high-intensity sweeteners. They are a common substitute for sugar in foods and beverages and are thought to help manage weight by providing sweet taste without calories. The table shows NNS by their chemical name, their commercial name, and their relative sweetness compared to sugar. The combination of sweetness and energy offered from NNS has been the focus of numerous studies since the 1980s. When NNS replaced sugar in sugar-sweetened beverages, the reduction in sugar intake could result in health benefits such as reduced calories, weight loss, or weight maintenance. However, some research indicates that non-nutritive sweeteners increase appetite for sweet foods, promote overeating, and lead to overweight and obesity. The incidence of obesity has increased substantially over the past 40 years. In the U.S., adult obesity is greater than 30%. The consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages and fruit juices are major sources of fluids in the American diet, contributing to over 10% of calories. There is evidence that intake of sugar-sweetened beverages and fruit juices is associated with an elevated risk of obesity and weight gain. Higher intake of sugar in the form of sugar-sweetened beverages has led to increased promotion and consumption of non-nutritive sweeteners. Since the 1980s, the marketplace has been flooded with sugar substitutes. Despite widespread and increasing consumption of non-nutritive sweeteners, dietary recommendation for their consumption is inconsistent across different health organizations. The position of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics gives permission for prudent use of non-nutritive sweeteners. The 2015 Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee states that added sugars should be reduced in the diet and not replaced with low-calorie, non-nutritive sweeteners, but rather added sugars should be replaced with healthier options such as water. A 2011 joint position statement from the American Diabetes Association and the American Heart Association urged caution in the use of non-nutritive sweeteners and concluded that when used judiciously, non-nutritive sweeteners might help with weight loss or control. In March 2015, the World Health Organization published revised guidelines on sugar intake and called on governments to institute policies to reduce sugar intake to less than 10 or even 5% of total energy and increase the regulation of sugar-sweetened beverages. With a call to reduce caloric sugar intake and suggestions on their proper use of non-nutritive sweeteners for weight, it leads me to the research question. In adults greater than 18 years on a weight loss plan or that are trying to lose weight, does the use of non-nutritive sweeteners as a sugar replacement aid in weight reduction? A systematic search and review of the literature published between 2000 and 2020 were conducted using 3 internet databases, PubMed, CINAHL, and UNE Library, to locate resources. Search terms included non-nutritive sweeteners, weight loss, and adults. In addition, a manual search of each relevant article's references was conducted to find the latest publications relating to the reviewed topic. Studies for inclusion were published in English and consisted of experimental and observational studies, including cohort, cross-sectional, and randomized controlled trials. I will now begin the review. 2 studies experimented with aspartame. One was a 4-week quasi-experimental study which evaluated overweight women consuming beverages with aspartame or beverages with sucrose, and found no significant weight loss. The second 2-arm trial investigated the impact of aspartame and high fructose corn syrup drinks on weight status of normal weight men and women, and found that aspartame sweetened drinks contributed to significant weight loss in men and a slight weight gain in women. Results of these studies do not provide evidence for aspartame as a weight loss treatment. In the Netherlands, researchers examined data from 750 young adults of the Dutch National Food Consumption Survey and found that in individuals who consumed 100% NNS beverages with acesulfame, cyclamate, and saccharin, men lost more weight than women, and in those who drank sugar-sweetened beverages with sucrose, women gained more weight than men. In the graph, the blue bars show baseline weight and the orange show post-intervention weight from an RCT which investigated sucrose versus aspartame, saccharin, Reb A, and sucralose in 123 overweight adults aged 18 to 60 during a 12-week intervention, and found significantly increased weight in the participants consuming sucrose and saccharin. There was a significant decrease in weight in participants consuming drinks with sucralose compared to saccharin, aspartame, and Reb A. These findings indicate differing effects of specific NNS. Saccharin may even contribute to weight gain. In some studies, NNS have been associated with weight gain and a larger waist circumference. Findings of the Talking Health trial demonstrated that NNS consumers had a significantly higher BMI than NNS non-consumers. A cohort follow-up to the San Antonio longitudinal study examined the relationship between diet soda intake and long-term waist circumference change among adults over 9 years. Non-nutritive sweetened soda was significantly associated with escalating waist circumference and abdominal obesity. Consistent with these findings is an observational study conducted over 28 years which assessed the impact of non-nutritive sweeteners on BMI and waist circumference and showed significantly greater BMI and waist circumference in NNS users versus non-users. In these 3 studies, non-nutritive sweeteners were not effective for weight loss. I want to refer to this chart of NNS dietary sources to show why the researchers generally examine NNS in beverage form. One study found that diet soda was the most frequently consumed dietary source of NNS at 39%, followed by juice and flavored drinks. NNS in liquids are consumed more than NNS in solid foods. On this slide, we're going to look at 4 studies which examine NNS compared to water. The first one is represented with a graph which depicts the weight of individuals who consumed water or an NNS beverage. While both groups had significant weight loss after 24 weeks, the water groups had significantly greater decrease in weight. In a similar RCT of Tehran, there was significant weight loss in the water group versus the NNS group, and in a French RCT, researchers found that acute and chronic exposure to NNS beverages has no stimulating effect on sweet food consumption compared to water. The fourth study, a randomized crossover study of adult males, reported significantly lower hunger ratings after sucrose ingestion compared with NNS and water. The results of these randomized trials comparing NNS beverages with water and sugar-sweetened beverages show that while neither NNS nor sucrose have a stimulating effect on appetite, water was more effective for weight loss than non-nutritive sweeteners. However, water had less of an impact on satiety than NNS beverages. Now it's time to look at NNS versus sucrose, or table sugar, the sugar that is found in sugar-sweetened beverages. The first is an observational study examining NHANES data, which found that overweight and obese adults drank significantly more NNS beverages than healthy weight adults, and healthy weight adults who drank NNS beverages were significantly more likely to lose weight than healthy weight adults who consumed sugar-sweetened beverages. The Danish study found significant increases in body weight and fat mass in the sucrose group. An experimental trial found that total energy intake after the ingestion of beverages with sucrose was significantly higher than after the ingestion of beverages with NNS. And the Korean RCT randomly assigned participants to 3 groups. Compared to sucrose ingestion, the consumption of NNS D-allulose led to a significant decrease in body fat mass and BMI. These findings support the potential weight loss benefits of including NNS products when used in place of sucrose. Three studies found that the replacement of sugar-sweetened beverages with non-nutritive sweetener consumption aided in weight loss over time. The RCT showed that replacing caloric beverages with water and non-nutritive sweeteners led to significant weight loss after 6 months. In the behavioral weight loss trial, the NNS group lost significantly more weight and reported less hunger after 12 weeks and was able to maintain the weight loss over the subsequent 40 weeks compared to the water group. These results support the findings of researchers who analyzed data from the Nurses' Health Study and determined that intake of water and non-caloric beverages was significantly related to weight maintenance. Online weight loss programs and dietary recall software are used as an effective weight loss monitoring strategy. In an observational trial, adult weight loss maintainers and always normal weight individuals were given 3 24-hour telephone diet recalls on random non-consecutive days. It was found that weight loss maintainers used significantly more strategies to maintain weight loss, including use of non-nutritive sweeteners, less sugar-sweetened beverages and alcohol, more low-fat and fat-modified foods, and more physical activity. The findings of this study tie in with an RCT which examined subjects who engaged in an online basic lifestyle program, OBLI, or an online behavioral weight management program, OBWM, with or without NNS beverage. In the study, the researchers hypothesized that the low-calorie beverage would be the factor in weight loss for participants in both programs, but the graph to the left reveals that among the participants in the OBWM program, those who used the website most frequently experienced significantly more weight and fat mass loss. In this study, online support consisting in food diaries, activity logs, weight tracking, and lesson plans led to greater weight loss. We can begin to sum up the information. Participants who replace sucrose with NNS have the potential to reduce weight as long as caloric intake is not increased by other beverages and foods. Successful weight loss can be achieved without non-nutritive sweetener consumption. There is always water. Sugar in liquid form increases body weight more than liquid with NNS. And weight loss maintainers must work harder to maintain weight than normal weight individuals. These findings suggest that non-nutritive sweeteners positively affect taste and appetite, which may lead to increased energy consumption and weight gain. Therefore, sweet snacks and beverages are potential areas for modification. Additional points are that successful weight loss produces greater than 5% loss from baseline, and in successful weight loss, weight is maintained for at least 12 months. Saccharin is associated with weight gain. Non-nutritive sweetener consumers may be drawn to sweet taste. Sweet snacks is an area for change. Energy from liquids is less satisfying than energy from solids, and NNS use is one of many weight loss strategies which include calorie and physical activity tracking, structured dietary plans, feedback, and reinforcement. There are several limitations affecting the study outcomes, such as the age of the participants, either greater than 60 or less than 30 years of age, or studies involving women or Caucasians only, do not represent the total population who experience varied results from non-nutritive sweetener use. Having one reviewer, as myself, limits the quality of the review and may result in a biased outcome. Participants' state of health and motivation are oftentimes unmeasured and also affect expected outcomes. Other limitations are short duration, self-reported, and misreporting measures in dietary assessments and questionnaires. Another is a non-standardized method of defining and comparing NNS intake among countries. In some studies, low adherence to the study regimen or attrition was a limitation. Finally, weight maintenance may have to do more with exercise, energy expenditure, and control than the use of non-nutritive sweeteners versus sucrose intake. Implications for future research include the following. Replacing caloric beverages with non-nutritive sweeteners is an important weight loss strategy. Future research should look at long-term effects of NNS use and weight and the cost of the beverages. Studies should explore motivations for NNS use, weight loss, sweet taste without calories, or a feeling of satiety. If NNS consumption is related to increased appetite, central obesity, and BMI, the association should be further investigated. Research should identify behavior aimed to reduce solid food consumption among heavier adults who drink NNS beverages. Overall, the evidence reviewed indicates that the use of non-nutritive sweeteners in place of sugar in adults leads to reduced energy intake and body weight. But when compared with water, non-nutritive sweeteners are associated with greater waist circumference and BMI. One key factor noted when replacing the liquid calories of sugar-sweetened beverages with non-nutritive sweeteners, one must not increase caloric intake through other beverages or foods, and when calories are not compensated, then non-nutritive sweetener beverages are more likely to be useful as a weight loss strategy. Thank you for your attention to this presentation. I have enjoyed my research and I'm happy to be able to share it with you. Thank you.